Welcome to Day 5 Clep 2 webinar session.
Good morning.
Streaming on CRT official channels of YouTube as well as Facebook. Today's topic is Phonetics 2, and with us we have resource person Professor Salivendra, Jayaraju, Hyderabad. Welcome, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much.
And with us Prokuri Srinivas Garu also with us. Welcome, sir. I request Prokuri Srinivas Garu to introduce our resource persons to the new viewers.
Yeah, good morning, Andhra Pradesh. We have here with us Professor S. Jayaraju, Phonetics and Spoken English wing of EFLU University, Hyderabad. He had PhD from Central University of English and Foreign Language, Hyderabad, and had written many articles, among them lexical level orienting in Telugu, a philosophical, a phonological study, and had written many books on, among them English accent training, mutual intelligibility, and also developing communication skills. A course developed for CITU, means that is Central Institute of Tool Design training program, a course in functional English for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University. Sir, we are very happy to have you here. Please start your session. Thank you. Sir, unmute.
Please unmute, sir.
Yes. Let me share my PPTs. Yeah, here we go. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
And I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Very much, and I welcome you all once again to this session on phonetics, and the second session on phonetics. First of all, I thank all the people behind this program and the administrators, and then the technical staff and all the policymakers who have given me this opportunity to interact with the teaching fraternity of Andhra Pradesh. I also thank you for taking part in the webinar broadcast yesterday. And I thank you one and all once again. Right, when it comes to phonetics, we were talking about the two versions of phonetics. First version is the expert's version of phonetics. The second one, today we are talking phonetics for better English pronunciation. This is learner's version of phonetics. I also mentioned a fact that is, during the Q&A session, in response to one of the questions. When we take up grammar, we have an expert's grammar and also the user's grammar. And normally we call it functional grammar. In a similar fashion, we have expert users phonetics. Today we are going to reflect users phonetics, and that's why I have clearly mentioned the main topic, under the main topic, phonetics for better English pronunciation. Right. The objectives behind the today's presentation or today's webinar are to create awareness of English pronunciation practice, to help the participants understand the Telugu English. You go to a linguistic state, you will find a variety of English there. that variety is characterized by the mother tongue of the speakers of English there in the state. So when it comes to the Telugu states, the English is spoken by Telugu states is characterized by certain Telugu linguistic features or the phonological features. Right, so that's why I have termed it as Telugu English. So the second objective goes this way. The first one, the objectives are to create awareness of English pronunciation practice, to help the participants understand the Telugu English, and lastly, to offer the participants essentials of English pronunciation. So these are the three objectives behind this presentation today. Let me see. I hope I will achieve all the objectives today. Before taking off, let me mention one important fact. See, phonetics is a scientific branch of speech study. So, I think some of you are familiar with the idea of phonetics. Some of you perhaps must be accessing in this webinar. So, first time they must be using, first time they must be listening to the word phonetics as a branch. I think all of you must be familiar with phonics. Phonics is a method derived from phonetics in the teaching of a language. And yesterday, since it is the experts' version of phonetics, for some people, it may be very difficult to understand certain ideas and concepts. But I can't help it out. The nature of the topic sounds so. However, I'll try to put the ideas very clear, and even today. So let me. Can you please watch this short video? She's a foreigner, but let me ask you to see how she is speaking.
రండి మీ పేరేంటి మానస మానస అని పేరు మార్చుకున్నారా యాక్చువల్గా మా అత్తయ్య వాళ్ళు పెట్టారు మానస అసలు పేరేంటి ధ్యానియానా మానస అని పేరు మార్చుకున్నాక తెలుగు నేర్చుకోవడం స్టార్ట్ చేశారా అవునండి ఎప్పటి నుంచి 2000 నుంచి 2000లో మీ మ్యారేజ్ అయిందా లవ్ మ్యారేజా లవ్ మ్యారేజా మరి ఆబ్వియస్లీ అంటారా ఏమైనా తెలుగులో మాట్లాడండి అంటే ఇప్పుడే మాట్లాడుతున్నాను కదా తెలుగులో ఓకే మీ ఇంట్లో మీరు రోజు వంట చేస్తారా చేస్తారా మీరు మీరేమైనా ఏదైనా నచ్చితే ఏమంటారు తెలుగులో ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా భలే అనిపిస్తే వావ్ అని ఏమంటారు తెలుగులో ఇట్స్ వెరీ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఏమంటారు చాలా అందంగా ఉంటుంది ఓ మా ఇంటికి రండి అంటే మన ఇంటికి రండి ఉంటారా కొన్ని రోజులకి ఉంటే పిలుస్తారా ఏం చేస్తా వంట చేసి పెట్టేస్తాను అవునా ఏం వండుతారు కొబ్బరికాయ మామిడికాయ పచ్చడి ఓ తర్వాత మీకు ఎవరు కొనిపెట్టారు ఎక్కడ కొనుక్కున్నారు ఇండియా కృష్ణ శ్రీకృష్ణ భలే రియల్లీ అడ్మైర్ యూ చాలా చక్కగా మాట్లాడతారు
Dear friends, what we need to understand here is she's a foreigner by name Dania, married to a Telugu guy and started picking up Telugu. And you have seen the Telugu she's been speaking. I feel, she's quite comfortable speaking Telugu. And her accent of Telugu, I don't know how you rate it. I personally rate it as excellent. And, see, how is it possible? How is it possible is a big, how is it possible, how is it possible to speak Telugu for a foreigner? And I would like to draw your attention to one of the important things. There is a case study going on. Some example case speech samples are under research. And what we need to understand here is, 20 Telugu migrant school laborers speak Gujarati exactly as Gujaratis do. As Dania was speaking Telugu, and the Telugu migrant skilled laborers speak Gujarati. And we have collected speech samples, and while they are speaking Gujarati, what are the responses of native Gujarati speakers? And we have collected the speech samples also. Since it is an unpublished research, we are going to publish in a couple of months' time. So I don't want to show you the speech samples. That's why I'm just presenting in black and white. So 20 Telugu migrant skilled laborers speak Gujarati exactly as Gujaratis do speak Gujarati. The speech samples are under research. That's why we are not playing the speech samples. Now, the question is, how is it possible? When Dania was speaking Telugu with a very excellent accent of Telugu, being a foreigner, how is it possible? When 20 Telugu migrant skilled laborers, they are not highly educated, they speak Gujarati exactly as Gujaratis do. How is it possible? So let us listen to this girl.
Okay, British accent first. So in British accent, it's actually a very simple accent. Most of the people, I mean Indian, follow this accent, but I don't know why I don't like this accent a lot. I have American accent.
American.
American accent is my favorite accent. I don't know why, because we have to twirl our tongue, we have to just drop some of the words, and have to cut out the words, cut out the last position of a word. Sometimes we have to drop the word just changing to a different position. So I love this American accent a lot. RP. Let's take a look at the British accent. I'm going to call this RP, which is received pronunciation. This action should be used by the actors in Britain, and of course, with some of the anchors who are working in BBC, so they should have this received pronunciation accent. British accent is an accent which was used in Britain itself, but we can't call it British, we can't call it received pronunciation, or we can't call it any of the type like Canadian and all, but it's actually a Polish accent who the Polish people with their royal families like Queen and Kings use this accent mostly there, because whatever they do with, they just mix the British and American accent and perform it as a Polish accent. ये कर सकते हैं, ये बहुत easy है. I mean, like हमें अगर हम हर एक चीज को ऐसे डिफिकल्ट लेके चलेंगे कि ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, just believe me, you can't do it.
Dear friends, she is a very young girl by name Jahnavi. When she was doing the show, she was just 13, and she could speak English in 8 accents. Jahnavi, who never traveled abroad, can speak English in 8 accents. The big question, how is it possible? Dear friends, we may, add certain buts and ifs to the performance. Yeah, because she is able to produce it, because she is this, because she is that. Jahnavi was born in a village in North India, in a North Indian village, raised as any other rural child in India, but she could speak English in 8 different accents. How is it possible? We simply, appreciate her with an expression, she is brilliant. She is exceptional. Dear friends, what makes her exceptional? At all, we need to speak just like that, or if we want to develop such listening and speaking skills, what are necessary? How is it possible? And what are necessary steps we need to take? I'll also give my experience here. When I traveled to Libya to work in a university, I knew no Arabic. But after reaching there, I won't say it sounds Greek and Latin, it sounded Greek and Arabic to me. But I could say Greek and Latin, but I could say it sounded Greek and Arabic to me. But when it comes to picking up the language, I had to struggle a lot. And I was asked to attend free Arabic classes, which I registered first, but deregistered soon without attending even a single class. And then I started picking up Arabic. Believe me, within 2 months' time, I was speaking Arabic as native Libyans who reside in the area called Scert. How is it possible? It's a big question. I'm taking my personal experience, Jahnavi's case, and Dania's case into consideration, and trying to draw certain, certain measures we need to take if we really want to acquire that kind of accent and pronunciation or spoken varieties of languages. So I would like to draw your attention to 2 important things. The first one, self-motivation, which is highly required. Well, why do we need the English? That is, the variety of English that is spoken somewhere in the foreign countries. Why do we need it? Dear friends, when we speak languages, we should speak languages in their quality and, in their natural form. If some a foreigner comes and uses Telugu in their own way, hello, which is not appreciated. Because the accent is not up to the mark, and certainly we appreciate and encourage people like Dania, or the accent spoken by Dania, the accent, Telugu accent spoken by Dania, we certainly encourage and appreciate it, because the language has got its own quality. Yesterday I was talking about it, languageness. That is what we could see in Dania's Telugu and Jahnavi's English with regard to the quality of the English language. Right? For this, they are highly motivated. picking up Arabic, I was highly motivated. I used to have some of my Telugu friends in the same place, in the same workplace. They stayed for about 2 years. They couldn't pick up Arabic much in terms of quality, because whenever I used to discuss with them, they used to say, "Why do we need it? We don't need it." Chalta hai. So they are not very particular. They're not keen on picking up the Arabic in its original form or virtual, features. Real-time features. So that is what we need to understand here. Self-motivation is crucial. See, I can never do it. I can never do it. I can never, if we decide it that way, we can never do it. We never. Is the first level of your initiation to the languageness of English. It is not a neuroscience. It's very simple. You have the speech apparatus as speakers has. English speakers have got 2 lips, and you do have 2 lips. English speakers have got one glottis. We do have 1 glottis. 1 oral cavity. The English speakers and the Telugu speakers have. So the same teeth, the same structure and anatomy. So dear friends, the same, they do have the same guitar that we have with us. But if we start playing it, we can play it, whatever the song it is. So dear friends, that is what we need to understand here. Self-motivation is very much required to acquire the quality and the languageness of any language when you try to learn the language, or when you try to learn it. Self-motivation is very much required. As teachers, if we are self-motivated and try to pick up expressions or utterances or sentences in the equality and produce them, yes, dear friends, we can certainly take a step on the ladder of success. Right? The second important thing is the imitation game. We do learn our mother tongue. We have learned our mother tongue through imitation. How does a child learn its mother tongue? By imitation. If there is no imitation, there is no learning of a language. Imitation is very crucial. So the first tool is your own self-motivation, which is in your hands. The second one is the imitation game. You can only imitate. So both the tools are in your hands. If you don't like, if you hate imitation and feel guilty of imitation, I think learning language in its original quality and languageness seems to be a dream. So the imitation game is very, very important, and you should be highly motivated or self-motivated to imitate the languageness and the quality of the language. So it is something like that. When you try to sing a song, you will try to sing a song in its original tune and melody. If Balasubramaniam Garu sings a song and which hits in a great manner, and when you try to sing the same song, you will have always the original model, the master model, and you try to imitate it. And you will try to imitate, and you will try to imitate in accurate rhythm and melody. This the one who sings in accurate melody and rhythm is treated as a singer, a very good singer. So imitating songs is nothing but, this is the quality we have acquired right from the childhood. So you have the ability and capabilities of imitating the rhythm and melody, the sound and quality. So both the tools are with you. You are capable of doing it. You can be self-motivated as teachers. You have imitated, you have used the ability, your ability called imitation in maximum form, to the maximum capacity. That's how you could speak Telugu very well. Let me tell you, before we were born, all the human languages were foreign languages to us. Once we were born, when we started, getting exposed to the Telugu language, we slowly imitated and acquired. Listening, imitating, and are very, very important speaking skills. Most of the times, for imitating, what we need the proper model of rhythm and rhyme. For example, if you want to learn a song, learn to sing a song sung by Balasubramaniam Garu, you always look for the original model. You don't look for the song sung by Balasubramaniam Garu and reproduced by Jayaraju. You don't look for that. So you will always look for the original model. So for the original model, what you need is, you don't need the script, just the script. You need the voice. You need the song in sound, rhyme, rhythm. That is the model we always look for. When you have that model and try imitating it, dear friends, one day we will try to achieve the languageness. If not the languageness, the exact languageness, certainly the near native languageness. That's why we call it near native accents, which can be globally intelligible. So the imitation game is very, very important. Most of the times when we say imitate and imitate, what to imitate and how to imitate are, again, the big questions. Let us move on and let us try to understand certain essentials of English pronunciation for imitation. What to imitate is a big issue and big question. Dear friends, let us move. We try to learn a language, a new language. We try to focus on sentence and the sentence grammar. Maybe initially writing, writing and reading the alphabet in that language, the alphabet of that language. So These are the very common and popular issues people adopt while they try to learn a new language. But this morning, for better understanding of imitation, I would like to draw your attention on a notion called utterance. See, sentence we know, not sentence, but utterances, not sentences. What is the difference between utterance and sentence? Let us try to understand this. Whenever our people try to join a spoken English course, the teacher begins with grammar. The teacher begins with the sentences. But what we need to, one of my students came to me and said, "Sir, I wanted to start a spoken English center. What should I do?" I said, in the class, at least for the first 2 months, you don't speak much. Let them listen and speak. How is it possible? Let them listen and struggle. Even though we don't learn anything in terms of reading and writing and grammar, while listening, we keep learning. The human mind, the cognitive abilities keep working. When you start listening, your cognition starts perceiving the quality of the language. When I started speaking, before I started speaking Arabic, when I was listening, it was a very, very difficult task. But I was still motivated to listen to Arabic. And what happened after some time? I could perceive, my ear can tolerate the Arabic music, the Arabic sound and melody, and without any words, without any meaning. So without understanding any utterance, I used to produce mock speech, idiotic speech quality. So then I understood, human mind doesn't keep quiet when it listens to something. It processes the melody, it processes the music, it processes the sound and the sound quality. So that is where we need to be motivated, self-motivated, to keep listening and listening and listening. Right? Sometimes I used to listen to people for an hour or so, understand only one word or two words in the initial days of my Arabic learning venture. So, dear friends, languageness must be learned and acquired through the ear. If your ear is very active, you can receive the inputs of the languageness. One day, you can produce the sound quality or the speech quality. That is what Dania did. That is what Janavi did. That is what the 20 Telugu migrant skilled laborers were doing, and speaking Gujarati exactly like Gujaratis, like Gujaratis. So that is what we need to understand here. So, dear friends, we have to understand this important aspect of listening. And while listening, if you want to pick up expressions, what I want to ask you to focus on is not sentence, but utterance. What is the difference between sentence and utterance? Sentence is a grammatical unit. It should have subject, verb, object, or it should have tense, whatever it may be. And utterance is a vocal unit. You will see the noise, the meaningful noise, vocal unit. Sentence is mostly written, but utterance is all the time spoken. Sentence can be an utterance, but utterance need not to be a sentence. What does it mean? Sentence can be an utterance, but utterance need not to be a sentence. See, for example, if I ask you something, Ismail Garu, am I audible? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Am I audible? And Ismail Garu was saying yes. If you look at yes, it is an utterance. It doesn't have a grammatical structure. Dear friends, what we need to understand is utterance need not to be a sentence, but sentence can be an utterance. Whatever I'm speaking, most of my speech includes sentences, but here and there are certain expressions which are not even a sentence. Okay? So, and sentence is structure driven. It should have subject, verb, object. It should have tense, right? And sentence utterance is always context driven. Utterance is always context driven. In the context, meaning is more important rather than the grammatical structure. And if you can bring out the words that are very, very crucial for meaning and ignore a grammatical structure, it's okay functionally. If you move with that base, with that basic understanding, if you move to reading and writing, there you can brush up your grammar and develop certain writing skills. So the last one is the basic unit. In sentence, you will have words, but in utterance, what we have in the in an utterance is just this. You know, a syllable and syllable units. What are syllable units? Are Telugu aksharas. Every akshara, every letter of Telugu is a syllable. Ka is a syllable. Ka is a syllable. If you want to look at English word and English words and try to understand the syllable, for example, you take any English word, try to write it with Telugu script, and each letter you present will be a syllable. So that is how we can understand the syllable. Those are aksharas, like Telugu aksharas. Right, let us move ahead. And for example, if you take up an Arabic expression like ana musharraf, and when you try to listen to this, how do we listen to this? What I listened to and what I picked up is just this, you know, the number of syllables. Ana musharraf. Ana musharraf. I don't know. Na musharraf. These are the syllables. If you try to use Telugu script and write this utterance, you will end up with number of syllables. So I should know the syllables very clearly, and the syllable sequence is also very important. If I change the sequence of syllables, you will end up with a wrong meaning or wrong sentence or nonsense utterance. So that's why I need to perceive the syllables, the order of the syllables, the letters, aksharas, I should be able to perceive, and in their original order. So that's how we can look at utterance. So utterance is the most important one to be focused while picking up any human language, any new language in your life. That is the basic step your ear perceives, or that is the basic unit that your ear perceives while listening to other languages. Let me give you some examples or samples of utterances. For example, we look at this one, good morning, good morning. If you go by the written expression, good morning, the Telugu way of pronouncing the expression. Because Indian languages follow the spelling pronunciation. Whatever we write, we should produce. Whatever we produce, we should write. So there is one-to-one relation between speech and writing in writing utterances or sentences in Telugu or Indian languages. But here, it is not the case. You just listen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The try is dropped. Good morning. This is the expression. Good morning. Good morning. So if you repeat this in this similar fashion, a couple of times, it's not a big rocket science to achieve accuracy with regard to listening and speaking. The second expression, come to the second utterance, let me begin the lecture. The Telugu way, let me begin the lecture. Because every syllable, every letter must be pronounced according to our understanding. Let us break it. Let us stop it here. Let us break that understanding here. English has a different way of pronouncing the expressions or utterances. Not in the Telugu way. Let us keep the Telugu way aside and come to the English language and try to understand its way of pronouncing or producing the utterances. So let me begin the lecture. So in the English way, let me begin the lecture. Let me begin the lecture. Let me begin the lecture. Let me. It is not ta, lep. He has written ta, but he is pronouncing pa. Just listening. Don't worry about the rules behind it. Let me know. Let me begin the lecture. 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 Let me begin the lesson. See, these expressions are very, very common in a classroom. If you practice these expressions for 5 minutes, listening to the original utterances spoken by native British speakers, you can practice them in 4 or 5 minutes time and go to the classroom, use it once, and the second time a little bit comfortable. You'll be a little bit comfortable while using these expressions. If you use them 4 or 5 times, the expressions will be yours. So that's how you have to plan. From learning, initially when you were imitating these utterances, you were learning. When you use them in the classroom in their original form, after 4 or 5 times, you will own the expression. So every day, with regard to utterances, target utterances, pick up certain target expressions or utterances, practice for about 5 to 10 minutes, use them or produce them 4 or 5 times. Then you will move from learning to owning the utterances. You have to own the utterances. So dear friends, that is how you can use the expressions or utterances. Right, now let us come to the third one. Let Gauri speak now. 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 Ta has become Ga. Let Gauri speak now. Let Gauri speak now. How do we understand this? When you listen to the original speaker's speech or native speaker's speech, you will perceive, your ear is capable of perceiving the sounds in proper units called syllables, and repeat them, imitate and repeat them. So that's it. When you look at, do you understand Jew? Jew. Do you understand me? 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 Remember, you are a model speaker of English for your students. If you practice today, let us say 4 or 5 utterances, use them in the classroom. Utterances can turn to be a model for your students, and they immediately imitate the teachers. Right. Now let us come to last but one. I'll ask her. I'll ask her. I'll ask her. I will ask her. See, the melody, the rhythm is disturbed, so the whole utterance loses its melody and languageness. I'll ask her. I'll ask her. I'll ask him. Don't worry about it. What you listen to, what you hear, you try to listen to it and try to perceive by your ear in terms of syllables, because you want to imitate. So if you want to imitate, the syllable is the basic unit. Remember this, please. I, la, ska. I, la, ska. Alaska. If you go by words, not by syllables, what will happen? Oh, I'll. There are 2 words, I and will. You will separate them and say, I will ask her. I will ask her. We will read. But if you, the native speaker's utterance, I'll ask her, then you will understand your ear. Give your ear a chance to listen to the original utterance, please. Then your cognition, you need not to do anything else. Your mind processes it and produces it when it is needed. So most of the times we don't allow our to listen to the native varieties or the native speech samples. So our cognition cannot process the native utterances. Hence, our cognition is unable to produce, our mind is unable to produce the native speech quality. Dear friends, try to understand this. And the last one, I'll give you an utterance sample here. Lend me your pen, please. Lend me your, in Telugu way, lend me your pen, please. And in the native speaker's way, lend me your pen, please. Lend me your pen, please. Lend me your pen. It's not pen. He says pen, please. So together, lend me your pen, please. 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 Dear friends, utterance must be the most important unit for people to focus on while learning the languageness or the original speech quality of a language. So while learning the language, what happens is, if you focus utterance, you focus the utterance. Most of the times what happens when we look at this, when we listen to a particular sentence, what is our focus? It is not the voice quality or speech quality. It is always, oh, what is this sentence? Is it past tense or present tense? Is it active voice or is it an active voice or passive voice? Is it in direct speech or indirect speech? We get into all the grammatical details and we get distracted by the grammatical patterns at this level, at the level where you're focusing on listening and speaking. So when you take up utterance, what should we understand? We need to understand the context. Every utterance has got its own context and the purpose. When I say good morning, there's a context, particularly as teachers. The context may be your classroom. I go to my class every morning. I have to greet my students saying good morning. Good morning. That is the context. What is the purpose? To greet my students. So that is very important. Good morning. I need not to worry about whether good is adjective or adverb. What are the three forms, in terms of degrees of comparison? Good, better, best. So I need not to worry about that. At this juncture, good morning. Morning, morning. Morning means, morning. So good morning, good morning is a proper utterance. And what you need to do, what you need to understand when you listen to this expression from a native speaker, the context, try to understand the context and what is the purpose. Try to understand the purpose. That is the first aspect you need to focus on utterance. The second one is sound strings and syllables. Syllables and sound strings. As I mentioned to you, let me your pen, please. La, me, ya, pan, please. Pam, please. Let me your pen, please. These are the sound strings. Your ear, if you listen to the utterance spoken by a native speaker, your ear can certainly perceive the syllables in proper voice and sound. And every utterance has got message and melody. That is what we need to understand. For example, if you take up a Tamil sentence, என்னப்பா நல்லா இருக்குங்களா? என்னப்பா நல்லா இருக்குங்களா? ఏంటి బాగున్నారా? كيف يا راجل صح والله. Hello, how are you? So every time the melody differs. So every language has got its own melody patterns. So message is also there. Try to understand the message. When I say good morning, I'm very good to my students. I'm very cordial to my students. That's why I'm wishing them. That is the message. Oh, my teacher wishes me. That is the message. My teacher always wishes me. Good morning. That is the message I send across. This is the utterance grammar. Grammar related to utterance. Context and purpose, sound strings and syllables, message and melody. If you just pay, your mind is capable of doing it, processing this. But allow your ear and your mind to process each and every utterance that you come across. That happens if and only if you're self-motivated to learn the language in its accent. So now I'll focus on certain Telugu related issues, practical issues, while picking up English. Telugu has a very beautiful phenomena. You take an English word and add "u" and it becomes a Telugu word. Pen and add "u", pennu. Bus, basu. Cup, kappu. Board, boddu. Book, bukku. When we start picking up proper English, proper spoken English, with regard to pronunciation, this is what you need to do. You have to chop, you have to cut that last "u." You know pennu in your language. You have Telugized it. You have borrowed the English word into Telugu and you are using it as pennu. And now when you start speaking English, you have to cut that oo. It should come back. You should come back and say pen. Basu, bus. Kappu, cup. Bukku, book. So this is one of the problems with the Telugu learners of English. The second one is questioning Bagunnaru, bagunnara. That is a questioning suffix in Telugu. Sometimes oo. If you look at when are you coming? When are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? That is questioning. When are you going? Ooh. These two are the Telugu effects to the English language. So what you have to do is you have to chop these suffixes. Pay attention on this. Closely observe your way of speaking. Are you using these tags? That is the practice to give them up in your speech and speaking. So you're fine. You're fine. You're coming. You're coming. When are you coming? When are you coming? When did you finish your work? I'm just exaggerating a bit, but it will be there all the time in Telugu Telugu speakers of English most of the times. And if you have overcome that, perfectly all right. But I'm generally speaking, the Telugu speakers of English have got these tags. That's how the English spoken by Telugu sound different. All right, now let us come to the other important thing. So the first one, oo ending of English words borrowed into Telugu, you have to pay attention onto that, on them. You have to chop oo. The questioning on questioning oo. The third one, tricky ra sound. Are Mahesh and Meena going? Are. But in English way, are Mahesh and Meena going? Ra disappeared here. In writing it is there, but in speech, while you are listening and trying to understand the utterance, Ra is not there. Are Mahesh and Meena going? So it is Ra in writing is there, but Ra in utterance is not there. Now let us come to second one. Are Indira and Meena going? Ra here is there. Third one, we are arguing for your growth. See, are, the second word are, there, Ra is there. In again, Ra in arguing, Ra is not there in the original speech, in the native speaker speech. For your, for, Ra in for disappeared. And your growth, again, Ra in your is also absent. In growth, Ra is there. So dear friends, Ra in English appears and disappears on and off. No need of rules here, but listen and practice. If it is there in an utterance, produce it. If it is not there, drop it. You need not to produce it. So you have to, while you're practicing the proper utterance, English utterance, you pay attention. you listen to the native speaker's utterance and try to follow, listen, perceive, and imitate exactly. If ra is there, it should be there in your repetition. If ra is absent, make it, absent even in your reproduction or, repetition otherwise, right? So that is what that is what we need to pay attention on, right? The third important aspect, I want to draw your attention. One of the important aspects I want to draw your attention on is just this. Some English vowels are not seen in Telugu. So, for example, if you look at strong a in Telugu, and weak in English, you have very strong and very, very weak. And you have another one, rounded aw. Look at the examples. Under. In the first instance, like oo in spelling, is very strong. In the same word, the final er, that suffix, those two letters, e and r, are representing the light under. So that weak and light r's must be maintained to produce the original speech utterance. Need not to worry, but while you're listening to the native speaker's utterance, try to observe whether it is weak or strong. What does he produce? Pay attention on, this is strong, this is weak. Fine. For example, if you take up, but in Telugu speaker speech, under, and both of them are strong. So that, breaks the balance or rhythm. Locker. Look at this one, locker, law, rounded, and the final r is weak, and So you have to, but in the English, in the Telugu way of speaking or pronouncing this word is locker, la. We make it strong, but it should be rounded, law. Okay. And when it comes to light and strong and weak, the article a is mostly weak, not strong. So most of the times we produce it as a strong and a long one. Yeah, he doctor, doctor, but he's a doctor. Engineer, weak. So let us move faster. I'll just wind up my session in another 5 minutes time, I believe. 6 English glides are not seen in Telugu. See, in Telugu we have glides, 2 glides. For example, I and ow, I, o, ow. Ow is a glide, long, I and ow, but English has got 8. So different. A, I, w, e, o. You have so many exercises with regard to these things online. You can browse the internet, and you can Google and then find out certain exercises, audio lingual exercises of these vowels. But they are very, very crucial. See, we have 2, they have 8. So it means their English is very rich in terms of glides, and you need to pay attention on them if you want to produce beautiful utterances in English. Right, practicing these glides will definitely help you in reducing MTI, mother tongue influence. Wherever we see these 8 glides, we try to use only 2 glides, or sometimes use long vowels. So that creates a problem. That's why pay attention on one principle. Listen to a very good set of utterances carefully. Allow your ear to perceive them properly. Allow your mind to produce them exactly. So this is what we need to understand. And subject auxiliary contractions are not at all maintained in the English is spoken by Telugu speakers. I am, I'm is a contraction, you see. You need not to expand it and say I am. In spoken English, all these expressions or contractions are always shorter. I am, I'm. We are, we are. You are, you are. He is, his. She's, it's, there. I have, I. We have, we've. You've. He has. Not necessary. You can say his, she's, it's, they've. For example, if you look at this one, Kiran's been a doctor. Kiran's been a doctor for 20 years now. Kiran has been a doctor for 20 years now. Kiran's been a doctor for 20 years now. Satvik God's IIT admission, right? So an IIT admission. So something like this, you need to focus on and practice your pronunciation. Similarly, auxiliary and not contradictions. Aren't, are not, aren't, haven't, don't. Observe the contractions in your speech very, very clearly. When you listen to the contractions, how they sound in the native speaker's utterances. Right. Dear friends, I want you to listen to this for a while and then we can proceed further. Hope the video is audible and visible.
Yeah, video is visible and audible.
The Greatest Treasure.
The Greatest Treasure
By Amit Garg. One day, Peter found a treasure map. Hooray! I'm going to find this treasure and have some adventure, he exclaimed. Peter set off. He walked a long way and finally reached a forest. There he met Lion. You are strong and courageous, said Peter to Lion. Will you come with me on a treasure hunt? Lion agreed and joined Peter. The forest was dense and dark. Peter was afraid. But with Lion by his side, he made it through. When the two finally reached the mountain, they met Eagle. You have excellent vision and can alert us to dangers, said Peter to Eagle. Will you come with us? We're looking for a treasure. Eagle agreed and joined Peter and Lion. The mountains were tall and craggy. Lion slipped, but Peter was swift enough to give him a hand and pull him up. Eagle, with his sharp vision, watched every step they took. Soon, they reached the valley below where they met sheep. Will you join us in our search for treasure? Peter asked.
The friends, I stop it here. And, Amit Garg is an Indian. but picked up the British accent very clearly. And you can browse for such video clips with regard to stories and storytelling, and practice. Pick up relevant stories for your classroom purposes, practice them. You have, we are blessed. We are in an age of technology. Of course, we are in an age of Corona also, but we are really blessed with technology. You can keep this on your mobile. You can download and keep it on your mobile. Use headphones, keep listening and listening and listening. And you will certainly produce the quality Amit Garg is producing while speaking. Dear friends, it is language, let me mention this here very clearly. Language learning is imitation, but imitate properly. Don't compromise on the quality. When you want Apple phone, go for Apple phone, which is original. We are in an age of internet and IT revolution. Everything is available at a click. You want the native speaker's speech samples available on the net. Dear friends, thank you very much for your attention on this academic presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, over to Dr. Ismail and
Thank you very much, sir.
Srinivas Garu.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen if for no need of showing the screen. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, we have some questions. Prokuri,
Yeah,
sir, if you
please.
have any question, you can start questioning, and I have few. Yes, let me ask first, sir.
Yeah.
Karuna Sagar is asking that why should we write silent letters in spelling if it is very difficult to teach primary students?
See, I don't encourage you to start, when you say primary students, primary level, what do you mean? Let me know the understanding of primary students.
1 to 5th students. That's
1 to 5th students, right. In the initial years, first class, I don't advise to, introduce them writing. See, the natural way of learning languages is slightly different. So we listen and listen and listen and try to speak, learn to speak, and then we start attending the school. So when the students come to you for the first year, give them a lot of listening and speaking tasks. A very less of, if you have 100 hours, maybe 80 hours of listening and speaking, only 20 hours of some alphabet and the pronunciation of alphabet and alphabet into words, right? So this is the first thing. Secondly, that's why English is slightly different in terms of linguistic issues. There is no one-to-one correlation between writing and speaking. That's why we have two different systems and approaches while learning the English language. One is for pronunciation, the other one is for writing and spellings. So for writing system, you have 26 letters. For speaking system, you have 44 phonemes. There are two different systems. So why should we introduce both of them? See, one day the students must be good at speaking and writing. So your laying foundations for those two outcomes. Thank you very much.
Sir, there is another question from Subhash Chandra Rao Garu. What he asked, what is difference between phonics and phonetics? Of course,
Phonetics is a science in its nature in understanding the speech sounds. How is it produced? And what sounds can go together? What are the phonetic features of a particular sound? What are the places of articulation? What are the manners of articulation? What happens to the vocal folds while pronouncing this sound? These are the scientific details of the sounds. In phonics, it is not just, it's not at all the scientific details of the sounds. It is only the practical details. That is, listen to the sound quality and produce. The children do not reflect upon, these scientific details, but they listen and do it practically. So that is the basic difference.
yes, sir.
Thank you very
One
much,
more, yeah, thank you very much. Sir. Another question from Jay Kumar. What he asked, why are these WJR sound like vowels but function as consonant?
Yeah, I think, today my presentation is basically on the learner's version of phonetics. However, this question is not on the version or related to the version, but related to the yesterday's version. Yet I'll answer this. It is because of the approximation and stricture, how the vowels are produced in terms of oral posture or postures, and how these wa, ya, and ra, ya and wa basically, how are they produced? What are the oral postures? The oral postures are similar, and the air escapes freely without any obstruction. Wa, ya, no oral obstruction. So in terms of stricture and production, they are exactly like vowels. That's why they are called semi-vowels. But in terms of articulation, when you take up vowels, ya and wa, they represent consonant sounds in English, right? So that's why they are called semi-vowels.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Another question from same person. What does phonemic orthography means?
See, phonemic orthography, there are two important notions, phonetic and phonemic. I'm not going to give you the philosophical understanding of these two concepts, but basically the practical understanding. English people have 44 phonemes in their mind, in their cognition. So they are phonemes, mental representations. But when they pronounce, some sounds sound differently. So, for example, if you take up pen, 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 pen. Pa is only the phoneme in the cognition of a native speaker, but when he pronounces pa, the strong pa, it's a different sound in the sense of production. So mental representation is pa, but production is pa. So mental representation is phonemic. The phone in the mind is phoneme. The phone produced is, it was published by a corporate company called Mass Intellectual Services Limited. And actually this was produced for children
Okay, sir.
and the teachers of children, the teachers who teach English for the teachers who teach English to the children of India. So for each sound, we have given a clear description in black and white in words, and also we have given the video, and we have invited, they brought one British lady, Marian, and the native speakers, remember, native speakers will also have certain pronunciation problems, as our Telugu speakers have some pronunciation problems in Telugu.
Yeah.
So they do have, she has got some, problems, and I gave her training for about a week, and then we went for recording. So wonderful book, and if you want, I think you can browse Amazon. In Amazon, it is there, and English pronunciation segmentals. That is the title.
Thank you very much, sir.
Segmental. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Another question from GGS Nageswar Rao Garu, diet lecturer. How do we help our students shift from the native accent to the required accent?
I have, I need clarification about these two terms, native accent and required accent. What does it mean? I feel both of them. Required accent is the native accent. You mean the local accent or Telugu accent of English and the native accent of English?
I'm reading out the same question posted by the in the comment section by Nageswar Rao Garu.
Yeah. So what we need to understand here is, I see the question this way. The Telugu accent of English and accent of English. So what is the problem there? How to move from Telugu accent to native accent? Dear friends, we have seen the problems. In Telugu accent of English, I have mentioned certain features. U endings, questioning and u. I have mentioned certain features. Pay attention on that. And always keep the native speakers' speech samples as model while you listen and imitate. That will help the learners to come out of mother tongue influence on the target language.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Pokuri sir, do you have any questions to be asked? Yeah. Sir, thank you very much for today's excellent presentations. Teachers are very interestingly viewing and listening to your presentation, today's presentation. They are following a lot. Yeah, in this connection, on behalf of the teachers and on behalf of ACRT, we convey our gratitude to you. Thank you very much for nice presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And one more thing, I have given the learning materials. Only text is given. Actually, in my book, the text and the CD both are available, but unfortunately, I can't, copy and paste because I have publisher's permission. It is a copyrighted stuff. But the text, the preliminary text, I could send it to you. But you can go through, and if you have any doubts, you can get back to me. Thank you very much. Thanks to Andhra Pradesh, and I personally thank Ismail Garu and Srinivas Garu for taking me on Zoom and giving me this opportunity to interact with thousands of teachers. It's my pleasure to be associated with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We are also convey our gratitude to the Commissioner of School Education, Sri Chinadi Rabaddudu Garu, and Miss Vetri Selvi Garu, IAS Officer of Special Officer, and Dr. B. Pratap Reddy Garu of CARP Director. Thank you one and all, and for tomorrow on day 6th, Dr. R. Purnima Ravi Garu from Chennai, she will deliver her talk. She is from Chennai, and the topic is pronunciation, accent, stress, and intonation. This may be the topic for tomorrow. Viewers, please stick to our channel and share our channel, like our channel, and subscribe our channel. You may get a notification. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all. Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Thanks.